Okay, so I have decided to continue to share as I decipher and go down and break through the golden record. And at this point in time, the importance of it is for my ascendance. But let me just get to it. Let me get to it. Continuation, the golden disc. Um, and I was playing around with some music saying this is for the meatballs. This is for the meatballs. I love to hear Red Squid say those words, meatballs. And the reason why I'm bringing up the word meatballs is because that's what the insignia of NASA was created on. That blue ball is quote unquote, meatball. It's a meatball. And they say this is for the meatballs. But let me show you how I do my research. So I go and I say, okay, why would NASA put meatball as their insignia, right? And there, type meatballs. No, I don't want the recipe for meatballs. I want the definition. Now, I've already done this, but I'm just doing it as I go along with, whoever's listening. So here's meatballs, definition, and I'm going to go ahead with the norm, the most used Webster. I can't stand Webster, but at the end of the day. So I'm going to skip past all of this that I just clicked to because I know where it's going to take me. So meatball actually took me to moon calf. And let's give the definition of moon calf. Moon calf. A foolish person. But I was like, no, it got to be a little bit more to it, right? With meatball, translating into a moon calf, and we could go into esoteric, exoteric, we could go to that extent. But here's where moon calf took me into. It says here, shapeless mass in the womb. Shapeless mass in the womb. And I think it was the year 17, no, it's the 1500s when moon calf was, no, 1700s, when moon calf was used as a definition for a human false pregnancy. Moon calf definition, foolish or absent-minded person. So NASA's insignia is a meatball of a moon calf. Of a birth that's fake. So that's the first um, thing I wanted to go into since I'm talking about NASA. The reason why I'm not doing this on StreamYard is because they have so many um, copyright infringements that I can't really post the pictures and things like that without writing to consent and all that, and I ain't got time for all that. But now I want to go into the amount of money that was spent through Voyager. They say this isn't a lot of money, but from the year 1972, there go that 9 again, or that 27 that I was talking about earlier. Um, they spent 865 million dollars, um, and that's just for first Voyager that they sent the golden record on. Okay, Voyager 2 cost was 895 million. All right. Um so there we just the talk of the so-called money. All right. Now, I'm going into the songs. The first two songs that I've chosen um to try to understand or comprehend or understand why they would send this to so-called outer space. It's uh I don't know. Just journey with me as I go through it. Okay. So here's the first song that I decided to choose was Blind Willie Johnson, which out of how many songs did they have on the first disc? I think it's 27. 27 songs on the first disc. That number again. Um, Let me go ahead and play it. If anybody knows the history or wants to know the history of Blind Willie Johnson, you can look it up. But between him and um, Chuck, between him and Chuck Berry, they are made to represent, I would say, I guess, African Americans. And on Chuck Berry, they used Johnny B. Good, and Blind Willie Johnson, they used Dark Was the Night. Now, it's with Blind Willie Johnson, I was reading his bio earlier, and the song that they chose, it's not so much that Blind Willie Johnson wrote this song. The person that wrote this song, when you go into their history, is one of the translators for the New Testament, how ice or how eyes. All right. And I'm not going to go too much in that. I don't want to keep going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole myself when I've already researched it just on the vocal of this recording. I'm just putting information out there so anyone that's interested in going any further or deeper, they can type it, but you don't really have to because the connection has to do with here and now and everything that they're trying to implement or follow along with their so-called prophecies. Okay, so here's Blind Willie Johnson, Dark Was the Night. This song is very depressive, and it seems as if their message to the outer verse within the heliopause or the heliosphere is that this group can withstand the most depressive shit that happens on this planet. And if they are successful, which is the Chuck Berry vibe that I got, if they are successful, it's only because of the bright lights, but the majority of them are blind in their pursuit of happiness and equality. It's sick. It's sick. Out of all of the musicians or artists that could have been used, these are the two. Now, the code within Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good is that he was the first to use B flat at that genre. But B flat is very important to NASA and the government. So anyone who's involved in music, research that key. B flat is part of the trap. Whether it's B flat earth, B flat tone, everything that involves this plane. All right, Blind Willie Johnson. Here we go. Uh-oh, I forgot to take my mic off. Let me change the settings. Back to the settings. Back to the sound. Take off the headset. Here we go. Let me rewind that. So the hum, the ohm, the chants, it's not how they ohm, it is what key you ohm in. So let me go back to Blind Willie Johnson, the blind man. All right. Let me put him in and tell you the name of the wait, let me stop this for a second. This may seem like a tedious, irrelevant journey. But again, what is important to them, or what is the truth to them about how they see the world? The few elite that have made the decision to spend all these millions of dollars to send a uranium disc, which they call the golden record, into or past the atmosphere, is again significant to what is going on today. Because even in the images that they have, the 115 images that they have created, have so many codes in them. And again, it shows what's important to them and why. Not just the so-called pictures of the earth, but the point. Like one of the images is the Egypt and the Red Sea and Sinai. Why is that so important to them to send to space? Another image shows Earth supposedly so many years from now, after you don't even see Florida and half of the United States on the map. So let me continue.